What up, everybody? You're now tuned into the true definition of a sports fanatic. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley. Man, we're going to get into it today. It's just me, your humble host, chilling on this Tuesday afternoon. First and foremost, off top, who were the decision makers that said it would be a good idea to let the Broncos play without a quarterback? I just want to know that. I just want to know. I mean, I don't give out donkeys of the days or anything like that. But if I'm the Denver Broncos, I'm wondering, why did they not postpone that game? Because having basically a wide receiver at quarterback, dude, bless Kendall Hinton's heart, bless his heart. But you say start with Nate. Hey, man, I didn't talk about it much. But I'm gonna post the video. I did a video with Kano Loco Sports. He's a boxing guy, and me and him talked about. We basically reviewed the weekend. Talked about Roy Jones and Mike Tyson. Talked about Badu and Badu Jack and McKernan. Talked about Nate and of course Jake Paul or whatever. So I did talk about it a little bit there. But we didn't spend much time on Nate because there was nothing really much to talk about, man. Why? And I know some people it's boxing is probably something he always wanted to do. And what he found out is that you can't just get in the ring and decide you want to be a boxer and decide you want to box, because Paul had been in the ring a couple of times already. I really believe it was a setup, man. It was a setup, because he had been in the ring a couple of times already. Now, if he wants to start a career, I would love to see him go and, fight or whatever. But him challenging the likes of Conor McGregor, it's not going to end well for Paul. Paul is going to be Nate Robinson if he goes up against Conor McGregor. I mean, yeah. But my favorite meme of Nate, and I'm going to leave Nate alone, man, because everybody's been piling on Nate. But my favorite meme of Nate is it wasn't even a meme, it was a tweet, and I posted the tweet. In the tweet, they had Nate laying on the mat, and it said, when your feet are pointed in the same direction is not a good sign. Oh my God, dude, I died when I saw that. I died. Feet was one way, head was another way. He laid out on the mat, especially you got the meme of him and our ancestors looking down on him, face down on the mat. I think they had Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and like Harriet Tubman, and they're just looking at him laying down on the mat after he got knocked out by Jake Paul, man. It's terrible, man. It's terrible. Oh, and also, especially the picture of the Jaguars players who was grabbing the butt of Jarvis Landry as a tackling technique. That is a technique, people. Don't laugh. That's a technique. That's a technique, I'm sure. And Landry didn't catch the ball on that play. So it's a successful technique. It is technique. But in that picture, you got Nate laying on the ground in the background. I'm like, Nate, what Nate got to do with the Jaguars, man? They're terrible. Yes, I saw him as the NBA logo. I did see that. Oh, my God. And they had him as like the leftover piece of food from Thanksgiving in the pan, him laid out in one of the aluminum foil pans. Bruh, I'm done, man. I'm done. I'm Nate. I am Nate Robinson memed out right now, man, because people have been killing Nate Robinson, dude. It's hilarious. I'm sorry, Nate. I mean, I'm shared to a few groups real quick, but man, I'm done, man. I'm done. That's hilarious. But back to the Broncos and Kendall Hinton, the quarterback for the Broncos, who was a wide receiver. He was out of work. The man was going into medical sales, and he got picked up by the Broncos as a wide receiver, then got promoted to quarterback. His gross paycheck for playing that game, playing quarterback, was like $35,000. And that's more money than I make, of course. But man, there's got to be some type of incentive, bonus, something for him have to suit up at quarterback, not knowing the offense that well, not knowing the playbook, not knowing timing, receivers, anything like that, and having to put him out there and have him run for his life. Now, of course, they played the Saints and he got destroyed, and that's what should have happened. But, man, more power to Kendall Hinton and more power to Nate Robinson. I mean, I'm not getting in the ring. So kudos to him for even getting in the ring. I'm not getting in the ring because I already know I'm going to be the next Nate meme if I get in the ring with somebody who has experience. But, man, wait a minute. Let's see. Here we go. All right, last one. So, man, the game of the week, Chiefs versus the Bucks. Now, let's go ahead and close this door right now because we talked about it before. I gave you my list of guys who's the MVP, which Josh Allen has played incredibly well. Kyler Murray's played well. Aaron Rodgers played well. Patrick Mahomes played well. Russell Wilson has played well. But I think it's over now. I think the race for MVP is over at this point. I mean, it's the door. If there's any chance, the door is just cracked slightly. And the only reason for that is injury. And if he gets hurt, if Patrick Mahomes gets hurt, then yeah, somebody can take over. But if Patrick Mahomes stays healthy, he is the MVP of the NFL. He put on a clinic against the Buccaneers, man. Yeah, him and Tyreek, man. Tyreek Hill was anybody who went up against Tyreek Hill Sunday. I'm sorry. Man, put your head between your legs and kiss your behind goodbye because that was crazy. And Todd Bowles, I don't know what the defensive plan was, but I would never, ever single cover Tyreek Hill ever. It wouldn't happen, man. It would not happen. Everybody else will have to beat me. I'd give up 200 yards to Travis Kelce before I allow Tyreek Hill to beat me over the top in that fashion. He did it consistently. He did it all game. 13 targets with 12 catches. Dude, he roasted those guys, man. If I'm the Bucks, I'm not watching that defensive tape. There's nothing to learn from it. What is there to learn? You don't cover Tyreek Hill 101. We already know that. So go ahead and burn that tape. Whatever the game plan was, go ahead and take that out. Whatever coverages you played, whatever alignments you played, whatever. Take it out, burn it. Don't talk about it no more. Because that was awful. Absolutely awful. And man, but once again, it is Tyreek Hill and it is Patrick Mahomes. And we really got to talk about it now because I told you where there's smoke, there's fires. There's always going to be rumors. But I believe when you hear rumors, there's some truth and some credence to it. There is trouble in paradise in Tampa Bay. Supposedly, Bruce Arians and Tom Brady are not getting along. And I believe that. I do believe that. Because Big Ben and Bruce Arians had a rocky relationship. They didn't get along very well. Didn't hear much about him and Carson Palmer, but supposedly they don't have a great relationship and it's not going well. And which is kind of understandable because they say Bruce Arians is a little brash and he's a cool guy. They say he's a little brash and he's a little abrasive. But I don't really foresee that being a problem with them going forward because if Brady could put up with Belichick for 20 years, I think he'll be fine. I don't as long as they win, I think they'll be fine. Because one thing about it, winning is a great deodorant. Right now in Tampa Bay, it's stinky. And you win, you put a great product on the field, you'll be fine. Whatever issues or whatever, because people like to paint sports as let's say a brotherhood, especially men's sports. It's a brotherhood. Your teammates, that's your brother. It's not really a brotherhood. It's just a bunch of guys collectively trying to achieve a goal, getting paid and win games in the process. Number one, it's about getting paid. Let's get that out the way right there. Now, that whole brotherhood thing, it is what it is. I mean, you got some guys who are going to be your brothers. You're going to have some guys who hate each other. You're going to have some guys who like each other. You're going to have some guys who think, who consider each other family. But it's not really a brotherhood. It's just a bunch of guys who are playing a sport. But like I said, winning is the best deodorant because when you lose, all the issues and all the problems, all the crap is going to come out. I mean, that's just what it is. But man, I know one thing: if Brady plays like that in the playoffs, they're going down. They're going to be a one and done team. They're going out. They're going to be a first round out, because one thing about age, and even though he's 43, one thing about age is not that he can't play at a high level or he can't play well. Just the older that you get, the harder it is to play at an elite level week in and week out. Because think about it, you're going to see flashes of greatness because they're great players, like Rob Gronkowski. Rob Gronkowski he flashed greatly. He played a great game against the Chiefs, but he's not going to be able to do that week in and week out because he's older. Same with Brady. Brady, man, looked like he'd be stuck in mud, man. I'm telling y'all. Yeah, it's man. But anyway, that game, though, it was a good game. The Chiefs should have beat them worse than they did. But the only criticism of the Chiefs, and I've heard other sports pundits say it, I think the first I heard mention it was Colin Cowherd, and he talked about how the Chiefs, they score so dramatically and so quickly that sometimes they're lackadaisical. They take their foot off the gas. And I really do question sometimes, do they have a killer instinct? Because they should have put Tampa Bay away much earlier than they did. And the team mirrors its head coach. And Andy Reid just doesn't, none of his teams seem to really have a killer instinct. And the Chiefs look that way too. But the difference is that he has Patrick Mahomes. So when plays need to be made in critical moments, Patrick Mahomes can make those plays. And you could tell when he's feeling it, especially when he threw the interception late. He's kind of cocky. He's feeling it, and it's a ball he probably shouldn't have thrown. But that's the only criticism of the Chiefs is they're so good that they probably feel like they could switch the flip and just outplay anybody at any given time, which last year in the playoffs, they showed you that that's exactly what they can do. But it's not a recipe for winning. You need to step on people's throats earlier than they do. But, hey, what do I know? I'm just a fan. So we're going to move on. One of the headlines I heard today. Doug Pederson may be on the hot seat in Philadelphia. And my question is, why? Why is he on the hot seat just now? Why? The only reason I can see him being on the hot seat right now is because of his relationships with people in the building and maybe his relationship with players. Because as far as the product on the field, he shouldn't be on the hot seat right now. What he should be doing is getting Carson Wentz off the field. Man, you'll be better off with a garbage can at quarterback and playing a game with 10 people on the field than having Carson Wentz at this point. I mean, his fall off wasn't necessarily dramatic because he's been falling off for the last 2 years. Jalen Hurts needs to see the field. Carson Wentz has to be benched, man. He has to be benched. And I was talking with my buddy Kurtson earlier today. And Kano Loco Sports. Hey man, I'm gonna post our video too. So make sure people go check you out and go subscribe to your channel. Go subscribe to Kano Loco Sports. If you like boxing, this man is the man. He's that guy on boxing. He was talking circles around me. So I got to get my boxing up. But that's the guy. You into boxing? Kano Loco Sports on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe to him. But you got to get Jalen Hurts on the field, man. You have to get Jalen Hurts on the field, and because you got to see what Jalen Hurts has. Carson Wentz is not doing it. The Seahawks are not a good defensive team, and they look like the Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Bam Chancellor, KJ Wright, Malcolm Smith. All those guys. That's what they look like. That's what they look like, man. They look like the Legion of Boom against the Eagles, and they are nowhere near that. They're one of the worst defenses in the league. They've had the 32nd spot held down, I think, for a few weeks. I don't know if they're still there, but I know they're probably the worst defense in the league. And Carson put up 9 points, man. 9 points. He's terrible. Get him off the field, man. Doug Pederson shouldn't be on the hot seat. Only reason you put him on the hot seat is if he refuses to get him out of get Carson Wentz out of the starting lineup and putting Jalen Hurts in, which Jalen Hurts should have been a Jaguar anyway, but we're not even going to talk about that. Let's see. Who you want to see as the Jags' new GM? The Jags' new GM, I would take I put some thought into it, but I'm going to do some more research. But John Dorsey off the top of my head, bring John Dorsey in. Bring John Dorsey in and get Kansas City's offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, who should have been a head coach this year, but nobody picked him up. But get John Dorsey with GM, Eric Bieniemy at head coach. I also like Louis Riddick. I think he'll be a good GM. Some people talk about him not having any experience as a GM or anything like that, but Mike Mayock didn't have experience as a GM. John Lynch didn't have experience as a GM, and they're doing pretty well right now. So Louis Riddick, go get him. Yeah. Let's see. I had one last point. Well, and because we're in Jacksonville and it is the home team, I guess we'll have to talk about them. Yo. Hey, man, I've been seeing you in the gym. See, what you're doing is you're trying to get sexy without me. I see what you're doing, trying to leave me behind, but it's all good because I'm doing a little bit of working. I got to get it in, though. I got to get it in. I'm just, I got a little something going on, but, I really got to get it in, man. But, yes, talk about these, which I'm really not really talking about Jaguars because it is what it is, man. Even though I do like the fact that Dave Caldwell is fired and he's gone. No, not streaming on both. I'm only on Facebook. I'm going to repost this video to YouTube. Yeah, I'm still on the trial version of StreamYard, man. I ain't paid for the full thing, dude. So I can't stream to both. I'm glad David Caldwell is gone. So now go get your quarterback. You got right now sits at the 26th pick, depending on how the Rams finish. You hope they lose more games. It was a big blow for them to lose to San Francisco Sunday, which was a plus for us. But go get you a quarterback. Go get a quarterback. And, man, I love Kyle Pitts, man. But Kyle Pitts is probably a top 5 pick, man. Like right now, realistically looking at it, it's possible he can maybe go top 5. So he's not falling out of the top 10 for sure. But go get your quarterback. Man, Kurtson, I'll talk with Kurtson earlier. He brought up a good point. Go get probably Justin Fields at 2, even though I like Trey Lance. So Trey Lance or Justin Fields at 2, because the Jets aren't winning a game. I don't see them winning a game. So at the best, we're going to get is 2. Go get Trey Lance or Justin Fields. Then he say trade up and go get Devontae Smith, the wide receiver from Alabama. If you don't know who that is and you haven't seen him, which you should have because he's been good for like the last 3 years. He's the best wide receiver in all of college football. If you think Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs is good, Devontae Smith may be better. He's a better collegiate wide receiver than those two, and he may be the better NFL wide receiver than those two. And they're really good. Just saying, Devontae Smith, really good. So I would say go get your quarterback, probably get wide receiver or see if you can get Kyle Pitts or something like that. And then just start the rebuild, man. Do a whole reset, fire everybody, get Doug Marrone, get everybody out of here. I would hate to see Keenan McCardell go because I think he's an excellent wide receiver coach. But, new coaches and new GMs want to bring in their own people. So it is what it is. But finally, healing can begin and we can turn this chapter over. I mean, because now under Shad Khan already, he took over in 2012. We have 100 losses, 101 now that we lost to the Browns. 101 losses, not 101 Dalmatians. No. 101 losses. That it's inexcusable, man. Inexcusable. Let's see. I think our team will look sexy to a top GM. Yeah, I think this is an attractive job because look at the firepower you have in the draft, and you can come basically mold this team into what you want it to be. You have a few players in place. You got Miles Jack, who's a Pro Bowler this year. We got to get him in the Pro Bowl. Got to vote because Miles Jack has probably been one of the best linebackers in all of football with his position switch, which I've been calling for him to switch his position for a couple of years now. But yeah, third in cap space, so you got plenty of cap to be able to do what you want to do. A couple of contracts are going to be coming off. So Nick Foles' contracts comes off. This is an attractive job for sure. What would you do with K'Lavon Chaisson? Well, I'm going to say this, and my Jaguar fans, you might want to cover your ears when I say this, but it's true. So far, the Rams have won the trade between us getting those 2 picks and Jalen Ramsey. They won the trade. It's not even close. It's not even close. Time will tell, but it's not even close because you're talking about a future Hall of Famer, first ballot probably, if he stays on this pace in Jalen Ramsey. So I'm just putting it out there. Sorry, it is what it is. I know it hurt your ears. But K'Lavon Chaisson, I will continue to develop him. I mean, because he's still young. I mean, he's a rookie. He's still learning. It is very concerning that we have not been able to get to the quarterback with him and Josh Allen on the field together. K'Lavon has been, at times he's been decent in coverage. But K'Lavon, I would keep him at defensive end. I wouldn't stand him up as much anymore. I would keep him at defensive end, and hopefully he can develop. But for right now, man, I need to see more from him. Oh, here go David, man. Is that a Titans sweater you got on in your profile pic? Because that looked like the Titans blue, man. You got the Titans fan. Yeah, King Henry the Beast, that kid from Yulee. The Colts had the number 1 defense, people, and King Henry destroyed them, which it is a divisional opponent, so I get it, but King Henry absolutely destroyed him. Let's see, what about Taven? Get Taven. Jakar. Why are you asking about Taven, Brian? Really? Get Taven out of here. Hamilton was our steal of the draft. Barch will be too. Hey, man, we got a couple young defensive linemen that do look promising, man. Devon Hamilton, that was a nasty injury Sunday, so I think he might be done. Hamilton was the steal. Gotsis hasn't been bad. He's been decent. DeJuan Smoot has been decent too, man. So I don't know, man. It's just they've been good. They've been okay, but they haven't been great as a unit because we cannot get to the quarterback. I mean, 9 sacks going into Sunday's game, man. That is not going to get it done at all. But enough about oh, wait, one more. Costin. That's the other one. I couldn't think of his name. Thank you, Jakar. I couldn't think of his name. Costin, yeah. Costin has been good too, man. I mean, the guys have been pleasantly surprising to me because these are young guys, not drafted high. Some guys we just picked up who I expected nothing from. And we've gotten better production out of them than, say, a Taven, than, say, a Josh Allen, than, say, a K'Lavon Chaisson. We've gotten better production out of those guys than the guys who are supposed to be giving us the production. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. And then on that back end, man, I mean, we're not, it's not even pieced together. It's not even patchwork on the back end. That's not even what I would call that patchwork on the back end. I mean, the one mainstay we have right now is Jarrett Wilson. Everybody else, man, I mean, we piecing this thing together with duct tape as we go along. Now, one thing I can say, too, of watching the Browns Sunday, I mean, the Browns have come a long way, and they are going to finish at least with a 500 record, at least, first time since 2007. So it's been a long time. But watching them, their downfall is going to be Baker Mayfield. That was evident Sunday. The game shouldn't really have been that close. Baker Mayfield missed some easy throws. Dude, he missed some easy throws, man. There's one still picture of Baker's in the pocket, and you got two Browns wide receivers. You got Kareem Hunt, and you got one of their tight ends. I mean, there's not a Jaguar around them, and they're right by the end zone. And it was an incomplete pass was the result of the play. Baker Mayfield is going to be the downfall of the Browns going forward and into the playoffs, because when they play good teams, him being off like that, he's going to have to pay for it. He's going to pay for it. Let's see what we got. O-line looked outstanding. Yeah, they did. They looked good. They didn't have to face, and I was so glad they didn't have to face him, because I believe that he's probably the best pass rusher in all of football in Myles Garrett. Dude, Myles Garrett is an absolute beast, and I'm glad we didn't have to see him. But the O-line looked really, really good, man. James Robinson was chewing it up, man. Absolutely. And it's crazy. The announcers talked about James Robinson in the year he's having, but this year has been with limited touches because we've been behind so much of the time. I think we've held the lead for the least amount of time in all of football. So we've been behind. So we haven't been able to run the ball like that. And in his limited touches, there's only two players better than him in rushing, and that's, of course, Derrick Henry, the Yulee kid, and Dalvin Cook. That's it. That is it. And you know they get force-fed the ball. That is it. You know. Oh, and Nick Chubb is scary too. Nick Chubb is absolutely scary, man. He missed 4 games and he lead the league in 20-yard runs. How? How do you do that? I'm not understanding. I'm really not. But let's see. Go back. I saw one other headline that I wanted to talk about. Let's see. 49ers at the Rams, Saints run. Packers and the Bears, which I watched some of that, but Mitchell Trubisky is who we thought he was. So I was not surprised about Packers and the Bears. Tyreek Hill, the best wideout. You can make that argument. Me personally, the best wide receiver in all of football right now is Devontae Adams, the wide receiver for the Packers. There's not a better route runner. There's nobody smoother in and out of breaks. He's a beast, man. He's a beast. And what's funny is he's underrated. I don't understand how he's underrated, because he's been doing it for a long time. Yeah, I don't understand. But Hill, man, is he's outstanding, man. He's outstanding. You know, I had a debate earlier. We talked about most explosive, maybe, but Hill is inconsistent. I don't think he's necessarily inconsistent. I would say that let's take DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf, he's had games. He's had up and down, games this year, because he'll flash and then he'll disappear. But it's not him being inconsistent. Just like I don't think it's Hill being inconsistent. I think it's dictated based on what the defense is doing and what the defense is giving. So, like in a game like that, Tyreek Hill should have never had 261 yards and 3 touchdowns. It shouldn't have came close to that. He shouldn't have had that. But the Bucs were giving him everything that he wanted. He gave the Chiefs everything he wanted, and you shouldn't do that. Like with Tyreek Hill, I made the case, and I was talking to a buddy earlier, that you can scheme around him from time to time. Now, you're not always going to completely shut him down, but with his speed and his explosiveness, you can scheme around him and kind of take him out of the game, especially if you double team him and force Patrick Mahomes to go to other people. So you can do that. But let's take a DK Metcalf, for example. DK Metcalf had 2 games where he had less than 50 yards. That was the Cardinals, and that was the Rams, because the Seahawks respected Patrick Pederson and Jalen Ramsey. Now, they just didn't throw the ball. And it's not like, they were throwing him the ball and he was dropping passes and he wasn't running crisp routes. No, they just went away from it. So what the Seahawks need to do is force feed DK Metcalf the ball. Force feed him, because you can't necessarily force feed the ball to Tyreek Hill. because DK Metcalf is just a absolute physical beast specimen. You can double cover him and he'll probably still get his, man. Same with Devontae Adams. He can still get his. Tyreek Hill can be schemed out because remember, man, he's only like 5'8". So he's not going up and jumping over guys and one-on-one coverage and things and jumping over guys and playing basketball. He's not doing that. Let's see. He was pooping on Slay last night. Took a dump on him. He took a dump on Slay last night. He did. Had Slay in his feelings. And I didn't like the flag that they gave Slay because he didn't do anything. They were just chirping and popping up at the mouth, a little bit of shoving. If anything, give offsetting penalties. But I didn't like the flag that Darius Slay got. But it's funny. I know the corners are all up in DK's grill because he's only 27 games into his career. And people are crowning him the next Megatron. And the corners are like, hey, bro, you ain't as good as you think. And I'm pretty sure it gets under his skin. But if you look at the guys that's been going at him, if we had to take him in the fight, they're Nate Robinson. He's Jake Paul. For sure. Let's see. Tampa played him all wrong. Never double teamed Hill. No, they didn't. They played him. They was awful. Todd Bowles, what are you doing? I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding what the plan was. None of those corners can run with him. None. And that single high safety, get out of that. They should have got out of that earlier in the game, man, because it was evident that they weren't going to be able to run the football on Tampa Bay the way they wanted to. They were going to throw the football, get the safeties back deep, and double team Hill. I wouldn't have done it, man. I would not have played it that way because the other outside of Travis Kelce, let's be for real about the weapons in Kansas City. Let's be for real about it. The most consistent weapon in Kansas City is Travis Kelce. Hands down. Hands down. He's the most consistent because after him, then it's Tyreek Hill. But like I said, Tyreek Hill's speed can be schemed against. Then after those two, you have a lot of guys who are fast, but they're not consistent. Mecole Hardman, fast, not consistent. Demarcus Robinson, fast, not consistent. Sammy Watkins, fast, not consistent. Pringle, fast, not consistent. So what you do is you scheme against Tyreek Hill and you scheme him out of the game. You try to hold Travis Kelce down as much as possible, and you make that other group beat you, and they are hella inconsistent. See, Ramsey shut DK down. I doubt Ramsey versus Megatron would have gone that way. I don't know. Man. It's hard to say because Megatron is great, man. It's hard to say, and Ramsey is great in his own right. One of the things about it is that Megatron doesn't have that necessarily that stature and physicality advantage over Ramsey. He's taller, of course, but Jalen Ramsey, he has a game that plays above the rim. He's athletic, he's tall, he's big, he's about 200 pounds. So he's not a corner that Megatron was going to be able to bully. I still wouldn't play him one-on-one with Jalen. I don't care who the corner is. I'm not playing Megatron one-on-one. Just like teams are going to figure out you don't need to play DK Metcalf one-on-one either. So it's going to be a long day if you decide to play those guys one-on-one. But yeah, and can't believe the Cardinals dropped that game against the Patriots. I thought the Patriots were going to take another L, man. But one of the things that I keep seeing about Cam Newton, you see Ramsey struggles with Julio. That was one matchup, Jakari. That was one matchup that I saw. And the matchup that they had, he played him last year, and that was him just getting traded. His first game, and he played against him well. He got burned on like two routes, but other than that, man, that's one game. So that's the only game I see where he really struggled against Julio. But talking to some people, about Cam Newton and the Patriots, it's funny, man. Cam Newton has been so hot. I mean, heavily criticized for no reason, seems like, man. I don't understand why they criticize Cam so heavily when you just let's look at the factors. Let's just look at everything that he's had to deal with. I mean, the way they judge Cam right now, they judge Cam like he's been a 2-year veteran, a 2 or 3 year veteran in that system. Like he knows New England system and he's been there for a while and he's playing this way. That's how they're judging him. They're not judging him based off of him getting with New England a couple weeks before the season, then him catching the bug, then having hardly no weapons at wide receiver. You lose your number one wide receiver. You have no tight ends to speak of. Your top back from last year went down. He's played sparingly, and he's learning a system that's incredibly complex. A system that's so complex. Chad Johnson said he couldn't learn it. He couldn't get it. He couldn't get the system, and it's his first year. And they were saying how they're trying to coach around him, and it's very elementary. But we're talking about a complex system that you just can't pick up in a matter of weeks. It's going to take some time. And for them to be at this position right now, for them to be 5-6 with a chance to go to the playoffs right now, I think it's pretty darn good. And it speaks to the coaching of Bill Belichick. It really does. It speaks to the coaching of Bill Belichick. But I just don't like the criticism of Cam, man. Why are they crapping on Cam so much? They don't really talk about the things that he's had to deal with. I don't understand it, man. I don't understand it. But hey, it is what it is. It's not going to really matter anyway, I guess, because of course Buffalo is going to win that division easy. Buffalo's going to win the division, and Buffalo is going to be a tough out in the playoffs. Yes, they are. Buffalo, Tennessee, Kansas City. Man, if you get any of those guys, let's see, they want him and Bill to fail. Yeah, they do. They want Bill to fail without Tom Brady anyway, because Tom Brady's the golden boy, and they want Bill to fail without him because they feel like Bill's disrespectful to him or whatever. They offered him a contract. They did. And he didn't want to take it. I mean, he felt disrespected. It is what it is. But dude, if Cam gets more time, let's say they finish out the season and they bring Cam back, Cam's going to be a better quarterback next year in that system. I guarantee it, man. I guarantee it. Because Cam ain't chopped liver, dog. I don't care what nobody say. He's not. But man, that's about it on the recap. The only thing that we're missing was Pittsburgh and Baltimore, which they just moved it back to Wednesday. I don't know. This part of the season, which they already had predicted that it was going to be the toughest for the NFL because the cases were going to spike. They said once it got cold, of course, cases were going to spike. And that's exactly what's happened. So the NFL has been scrambling. I think we're going to get 3 games on next Monday Night Football. So it's going to be interesting to say the least, to see if they can finish out the season. It hasn't got to the point where there's any threat of cancellation or anything like that. What they're probably going to do is tighten up on their protocols, tighten up on exposure, because you can't play football in a bubble. You can't do it. You can't do it like the NBA did it. So they're just going to have to tighten up on protocols and different things that they're doing to limit their players to exposure. But I'm ready for this Pittsburgh and a Baltimore game, even though Lamar and a bunch of different guys are not going to play. I'm still ready to see it. I was looking forward to that for Thanksgiving night. When I saw they weren't going to play, I was like, there's really no reason to watch the other games because the other teams suck. So, it is what it is. But man, this has been a good talk. It's been therapeutic. I appreciate you guys for watching me. Probably gonna go live again this sometime later this week. Probably talk a little more college football, talk a little more NBA, talk about these moves. Definitely talk about especially a lot of the moves that were made in the NBA. I touched on it just a little bit, but talk about that more, and talk about college football and the playoff Heisman race and all those good things. So probably going to do that again later on this week. So I'll let you guys know when I'm going live. Hopefully I got a few more another interview coming up soon. So hopefully I'll get that out, get that to you guys, man. Appreciate you guys for your support. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'll check out the YouTube, my Instagram, Twitter, of course, Facebook, all those good things, man. Appreciate y'all. But man, I will talk to you guys later. Peace. Appreciate you, brother. We got to link up, dude. It's been too long. Definitely got to link up.